1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All are.
One of resistance.
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
Rebellion.
Rebellion is built on hope.
And redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Star Wars Reaction. We are going to have a great show for you this week. It's episode 66. We got a great show planned. Little off the wheels already, but it's all good. My name is Aaron Harris, as always. And normally I would introduce you to the dulcet tones of my co-host, David Motters. Unfortunately, David has had a family emergency and has had to step away this week from the show. So we wish him the best, him and his family the best as they're dealing with what they're dealing with. But joining me is our special guest. You know, this week was our reactions chat episode. So instead of waiting to bring him in, we're going to bring our guest in right now. She is an actress. She is a Star Wars fan, but the thing I like the most about her is she's probably as big a Chopper fan as I am. And if y'all know me, you know that's huge. So please welcome Samantha Kacho to the show. Samantha, how are you doing?
Hi, I just realized, I'm number 66. That's a big deal too. What?
Yes, that did not catch that didn't hit me until you mentioned it. Yes.
Yeah.
Episode 66.
Like, oh boy. Here we go.
Yes, we'll have to find some Palpatine clips to insert there for the opening for Order 66. Yes. So welcome. We appreciate you joining us this week. Thank
you.
It's going to be fun. How are you doing? How's everything going on your end?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right, trying to adjust to the time change. But other than that, I'm so excited to be on here, and we could just talk Chopper the whole time.
We really could. I guarantee you we will talk a lot of Chopper.
I'll try to mix it up.
Yeah, well, David's usually the one that reels me back in when I start going off on Chopper rants. So with him not here, sky's the limit tonight.
Really? Yeah. We're going to go. We're just going to keep going. If you build it, they will come.
Oh, I love it. Yes. Field of Dreams. Love it. Let's do it. So here we go. So, normally we start off with the news for the show. There's not been a lot of news in the Star Wars world till about, 30 seconds before we started the show. And then my phone starts going off and I'm like, what in the world? So apparently it has been announced that the movie Rogue Squadron, which was announced at the Investors Day event in 2020, that Disney did, has been postponed due to scheduling conflicts for its director, Patty Jenkins. Which, I'm kind of disappointed. I was really looking forward to that movie. But, waiting just will drive up my anticipation.
Right. Well, I keep seeing rumors too, like, they're going to do an Old Republic movie instead. I don't know. I mean, I'm totally fine with the time being taken because we have so much that's coming in that interim. And I know we'll see probably a lot more of it on Friday on the Disney Plus Day with whatever news they drop.
Exactly. Disney Plus Day is coming up Friday, the 12th. So we got a lot coming that's supposedly coming out this next year. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show is supposed to be coming out, the Cassian Andor show, a second season of The Bad Batch, and supposedly Mando 3 has started production and would be ready by the end of 2022. So we got a full plate of Star Wars stuff coming, plus a couple of Lego specials scattered in there as well for a good laugh. So there's a lot going on. So I think even though this is being postponed, it won't be as noticed as
Right.
it would have been if there was nothing else going on.
Right. Exactly.
It's not as big a deal as, the Indiana Jones movie being postponed.
Oh my gosh. It just keeps going.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Is it 2022 now? When is that movie coming? Is it 2023?
I think it's 2023 now.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, at this rate, they'll be digging Harrison Ford up to do the press. They keep postponing it. It's crazy. They'll have to do a seance for the press media days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it keeps getting pushed back. And it's, first it was Harrison's injury when he got hurt. And now it's just production delays, and it's just one thing after another. So, with Rogue Squadron, Patty Jenkins' schedule is just not allowing it to fit where they thought it was going to. They didn't specify what project's delaying it, but she's got a couple in the works: a Cleopatra movie, Wonder Woman 3. The woman is nonstop,
right?
back-to-back movies. So she will have stuff coming out, and I've really enjoyed everything she's done so far. So I'm really looking forward to Rogue Squadron.
Yeah. And I'm glad she's, able to have all of these things and to be that busy. That's well deserved. And we're okay to wait a little bit longer.
Absolutely. We are. Patience makes the heart grow fonder.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. That's good. So, of course, the only other news is actually, and I actually shared this with you earlier today. And because I knew you would be the one person in the world that would celebrate this as much as I did. And I sent it to David, and I just got oh, wow. But Disney has released, as part of the Galaxy's Edge, the droid building experience, that you can build your own droids, or you can buy pre-built droids. As part of the pre-built droids, they have released our favorite astromech. And those of you that are shouting R2, sit down, because we're talking about Chopper. That's right.
My sweet boy, my sweet precious. He would never harm anyone. Never.
Yeah, just keep that. Just keep that up. Keep that up. He needs those alibis. Yes, Chopper has been released.
Yay!
Gorgeous looking droid. I was so excited. I've already contacted like 3 different people, one that works at Disney and 2 that have Disney passes, and I'm like, dude, when are you going?
Yes, please. My Venmo is ready.
Yes. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. I don't care if I don't have it. I will get the app and send you the money. Just when are you going? And tomorrow would be better.
Tomorrow would be better. Is he available? So is it at both Galaxy's Edge? Is it at World and Land?
I would assume so.
We think.
I would assume so. The information I got was basically somebody sent me a screenshot of a post they saw on Instagram.
Okay.
And they basically just said they saw it at Galaxy's Edge, which and this person that sent it to me knows this person, so I know it's in Orlando.
Okay.
At least right now. And I did confirm it is retailing at $119.
Okay.
which I mean, it's pre-built and everything, so it's $20 more, and because it is Chopper. I mean, doing the droid building experience is $99, $100 in and of itself. So getting the droid pre-built and getting it in a design of a already popular droid, I would pay I'd pay. Don't tell Disney I'd pay an extra $100 because it's Chopper. Don't tell Disney that.
And I was going to say, wasn't, back in the day, the BB-8 that you could control by like your phone, or the R2, they were like, what, $149, I think.
Yep.
5 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I feel it's a decent price. So, and I'm definitely working on getting one, and he will sit when I get relocated to my new house. He will be join the ranks of my Chopper shrine.
I'm trying to think. Because I have like a little Ewok type shrine, and I have like a little section, but I don't have a. Yeah, I should probably create my own Chopper shrine too.
Oh yes, I got a lot of Chopper. I got
Yeah.
a nice size Chopper shrine with
Yeah.
figures and Funkos and Black Series and
Yep. Yep. I do.
the
Yeah.
stamp collection when they released the stamps last year.
Right. I wish I could have bought a whole book though of just
Oh,
Chopper.
I know that would have been so much
I would have
better.
bought like 20 of them.
Well,
It's worth it.
Did you get the framed photo?
I didn't, and I remember you talking to me about that, and I ended up, just cost saving. And I don't know if that would still be an option, so maybe I could look into it. Because did you have like the day of type?
No,
Is
I
that what
didn't
they
buy it
called
the day
it?
of. It wasn't a day of thing. It
Okay,
was just on the Postal Service website.
I'll have to check
And
again.
yeah, and they had one for each character stamp that they did. And
Right.
matter of fact, I found out about it after it was like 2 weeks after the release, and somebody posted a picture of it. Hey, look what I got. And I'm like, where? And why didn't I know about this?
I would like to see it, Liz Lemon voice. Yeah.
Exactly. So I went and I ordered it immediately, and it came 2 weeks later, and I was super ecstatic. And it's actually now sitting with my Chopper shrine in a box, ready to be moved.
Yay.
Yay!
I'm so glad he was included on that because when so many of those things are done, it's kind of like, oh, it's the animation, we don't care. And they'll put the most obscure ones, in the live action films. And Chopper has made just such a mark. And so I was thrilled. Whoever made that decision, I salute you. Thank you, whoever it
Absolutely.
was.
Thank you.
Because so many people I saw were so excited to see him on the stamps.
Exactly. It's the animation side of stuff, especially, not necessarily Clone Wars, because a lot of those characters were in the movies already,
Right.
but Rebels and even Resistance gets a lot less love than Rebels does.
Yep.
You just don't see or hear about those characters.
Right.
So the fact that we got to see that kind of love for Chopper in those stamps, that made my day.
Me too. Oh yeah. I wish AP5 would have been on there instead of maybe like the medical droid or something,
Yeah.
but I will take Chopper. I will take that.
Yes.
So
Yes. Maybe the second wave of stamps they do, we can lobby for AP5.
I would lobby for AP5 and then AZ3, who is just so precious.
There you go. Very good.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Oh, and and maybe with, Bad Batch and having that out too, he doesn't seem so obscure, versus going all the way back to the Order 66 arc, God, like however many years ago. Like how many years was that?
Oh, geez. That was, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. When was that?
I'm like 2013, because that was a part of the Lost Missions when they finally released it, on like DVD. I'm thinking, was that 2013? Was that right? Did it air right after the sale to Disney? Right before? I don't.
Let's see. It ended. I can tell you exactly when it was. Hold on. I got it right here.
We're gonna figure this out.
we will. This happens a lot on this show. We get into a dilemma like this and we can't figure it out, so we look it up. Yes, IMDB is my friend.
I feel like that's me every day talking with somebody. Let me look it up on IMDB, and that's just what I do.
Yeah, see, the season 5 of Clone Wars ended March of 2013.
Ooh,
Lost Missions were released March 7th, 2014, exclusively on Netflix.
Yep. Yeah. Yes.
I remember that. I remember that day intensely because it was March 7th, and I specifically took the day off work to binge watch them all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
I sat in my office, fired up the TV, I remember specifically I had a bag of Doritos. I had 2 bags of gummy bears and a 2-liter of Barks root beer.
Oh my gosh, that's fabulous.
And I just sat there and I watched Lost Missions.
I'm thinking how long, because I'm trying to think how many episodes, how that would have taken, because you would have had the 4 Order 66, the 3 Clovis,
There were
the 2
13
Jar Jar
episodes.
Binks, and then like the 4, the Yoda and the Force Ghost.
Yeah.
That's probably a good half a day right there.
Yeah. It's 13 episodes,
Yeah.
23 minutes a piece. I mean, that's 299 minutes divided by
It's actually
60 minutes an hour. That's 5 hours.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah.
5 hours. So, you factor in breaks to go get more food and
Right.
restroom breaks. And, for those of you that know me, gummy bears are my crack. So those gummy bears didn't last through the first episode. So
That is hilarious. That's like me and my Mountain Dew. That's my crack.
oh, there you go. See, that's been ever since I started my diet. Mountain Dew has become my thing because they actually released the Mountain Dew Zero
Yeah.
sugar.
Yep.
And of course, it's no calories, so it works perfectly on my diet.
Yeah.
And it's one of the only 0-calorie drinks that I found that actually tastes like the original.
It does, and I'm bad. I still drink the original, and I need to get off of it because again, it's crack. But
Oh, yeah.
it's wild how with Mountain Dew, even the diet, it tastes like it. Like they're so similar for all the various drinks. Whereas if you're drinking Coke, man, within an instant, I know what that is if it's
Yep.
diet or regular. But the Mountain Dew, I mean, that's quite some magic that they've completed to be able to do that.
They certainly did. And it has actually made my diet so much easier.
Yeah.
It's really that and not buying gummy bears has actually been the linchpin on my diet. Mountain
Yeah.
Dew Zero and not buying gummy bears,
Not buying gummy bears.
which is rough.
I bet.
But enough of that.
Chopper would be like, eat those gummy bears. Eat them.
Yeah, Chopper would roll up, open his compartment, pull out a bag, go, here you go, and
Yeah.
turn around and roll away and snicker as he's rolling.
He would do his that's like my favorite thing. Or when he does his rah and he like runs away.
Oh, yes, exactly. That's exactly what he would do.
Oh my gosh.
Then he'd have his little arms waving around in the air too.
Yep. Yep.
Then he'd roll away, find somebody else, be like, hey, he'd find somebody, be like, hey, he'd find my coach and be like, hey, he's got gummy bears.
He would, yes.
Then
He
he'd
would
roll in behind him and start snickering as he's yelling at me
my
for eating
gosh.
gummy bears. You really shouldn't eat the gummy bears.
He is sweet precious. He can do no wrong.
No, not at all. Not at all. He's perfect.
It's so funny.
Well, for this, like I said, this is our chat episode, and we have done a lot of chatting so far, and this has been great. I'm loving this. But we have a list of questions we normally like to go through just to get to know you better, to get to know about your fandom and what drew you into Star Wars to begin with, and just to share with our listeners and just to get different points of view and get different fandoms out there, and just to try to spread positive messages and unite the community and the way it needs to be done. So,
okay. Yep.
So let's hit some of these questions that we go. We got maybe about a half dozen questions here. Then we have what we call our speed round questions, which are at the end, which are they're just 5 real quick questions that we'll go through. But these first ones, they're more in depth. These will probably make you think.
Okay.
And so, first one, we would just want to know. We always ask is, how and when did you first get into Star Wars into the fandom?
So kind of Star Wars and then the fandom, or just the fandom?
No, both.
Both. Okay. And it's funny because it's hard for me to answer that first one because I really can't remember when. I just know that by the time I was 8 years old, I had like a homework. I still have this notebook of mine from second grade. The date is December 17th, 1993. And I guess the teacher would put questions on the board and we would, write the answers, and that would be our homework. And I don't know what the question was. It was either what makes you happy, what do you like, something along those lines. And one of my answers on there was when I watched Star Wars. So I would have just turned 8. And then ironically, December 17th is the day that Force Awakens came out in 2015. So who would have thought that so many years later, that would have been a nice little irony. But in terms of like, can I remember that first moment? I can't. I just know it would have been through my dad. And I know we had a VHS recorded copy of like Return of the Jedi. And I think the reason we were able to watch it a lot is it would play on either like TBS or TNT, I feel like during the holidays. And I even remember the commercials where, it would be like, you're watching The Empire Strikes Back on TBS or TNT. And they would always show like a little clip from the movie as they were saying that. And I remember for Empire, they would always show Lando going up the hatch of the Falcon at the end of the film. But I don't remember exactly my age or which one was the first one. And I think my earliest memories is probably Return of the Jedi. And I just loved the Ewoks. I loved Wicket. And I do think I had a memory too of where I was young enough where I didn't know if Alderaan was Earth or not. And I was like a little concerned, like, oh, this planet's being blown up. And my dad's like, this is not Earth. So at least by the time I was 8 years old, it was very cemented in my psyche. So that by the time when the special editions were re-released in 1997, that was appointment viewing to go and see. And I would have been 11 going on 12. And we drove to a theater, an AMC that was a bit farther away to go, A New Hope, and then Empire, and then Jedi. So that's basically kind of my history of it. And I do remember, I think it was like 5th grade, there was a coloring book, and it had Wicket's full name. It said Wicket W. Warwick. And that was the first place that I learned that what his full name was, that it wasn't just Wicket. But getting into fandom didn't happen, honestly, until The Force Awakens came out. Because, it just wasn't something that I felt like, I was able to share necessarily with a lot of kids my age when I was younger. Because it was kind of like that, dark time, of course, where there were the books. And I would always see the books at Media Play, for my people out there who remember Media Play. But, and see like Mara Jade and, like the Jedi Academy stuff. But yeah, it wasn't until The Force Awakens came out, and it was after that. And I had been on Twitter for 6 years and had been really into the Game of Thrones fandom. And so I felt comfortable with it and comfortable sharing it. And so once that film came out, it allowed me to express that, even more fervently. And it's been really, really lovely to meet so many people, that love this one thing.
Awesome. That I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's because I came to very similar situation. All my experience was from an old VHS, except for mine was A New Hope. Mm-hmm. And I remember I watched it till the tape wore out.
Did you?
Yes, I did. And then Empire Strikes Back came on TV, and we recorded that one too. So I knew those two, and I never saw Return of the Jedi. It was years before I got to see Return of the Jedi. It was years after it came out.
Oh, no way.
Well, my background, my parents were missionaries, so I grew up overseas. Okay. So I just had the VHS tapes that we had brought over with us. So when Return of the Jedi came out, I was overseas. I missed it. So I had no clue what happened after Empire Strikes Back.
Wow. It's funny you say that, because my parents were overseas when the first one came out. My dad was in the military, so they were in Germany. So that's so interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I remember going through all of my friends that were there, which weren't a lot because I was still trying to learn to speak the language. So, but the other Americans that were there with us from the embassy and stuff, when we would play Star Wars, and we would act out A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, that we would make up whatever we wanted for what happened afterwards.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was crazy. Then we saw it and we're like, yeah, that's not how it's supposed to go.
I was going to say, when you were acting it out, would you have thought Darth Vader would have been redeemed, or what? I'm curious.
No, when we acted out, we never had the redemption coming into play. I mean, we were young. I mean, I was second and third grade at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So those type of deeper themes just didn't click at that age back then. And so, no, we didn't. We just always had Luke coming in, we had Han being held on Vader's Star Destroyer, and we had Luke infiltrating the Star Destroyer and cutting him out of the carbon freeze with his lightsaber, and then finally beating Vader, and then the Empire just self-destructed after that. So
that is so cool.
But what got really weird is when we all worked it out, we had Luke ending up with Leia, which we were way off.
Oh God, yeah, you're right.
Then we saw the movie and we're like, oh, that's just weird.
I mean, in fairness, last minute decision, with that. So, that is so funny.
I love it. So when you finally got into Star, especially after Force Awakens, when your fandom started, what really appealed to you about Star Wars as a fan?
I think just being able to engage with people about these stories that are so far reaching, and I joke, the number one thing that I talk about in therapy as well, because I'm in therapy, is Star Wars. And, and one of the things that we do is just being able to use the mythic to process so much of what is going on. And we are in such a moment of change right now. And Star Wars is too. It's reflective of that. But, we have these things to reach back into to maybe help us process everything. And so to be able to share that love and that connection with so many different people of, ages and backgrounds and beliefs and whatnot, and just to be able to put it out there, because, it seemed like for, like 20 years I didn't, other than just with my parents and whatnot, just to have that emotional connection is just really wonderful. So that's the big thing for me, is like that mythic aspect. And, we have those archetypes, but at the same time, each of us as people are every one of those archetypes put together. And to just, this is one of the ways I think a lot of us, we process how we exist, and that's why it sits so close to the vest for so many of us, or, and why it can be so emotional. And yet at the same time, holding space objectively for all of these various viewpoints that everyone has.
All good. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Makes me really wish David was here too, because David would have loved this, because
I'll just have to come back and we'll do a mythic discussion.
Please, definitely, because David's actually a psychologist.
No way. Okay. That'd be wonderful.
He would have. He would have. Oh man, I would have loved to have heard his thoughts on that. But no, definitely. We got a future episode. You're coming back, talk all the mythology with us. That will be awesome. Yeah. And I know he will love that too. So.
Yeah, every therapy session, I mean, it pretty much comes up in one way or another. And if it's not it, then it's Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is very similar, I feel like, in a lot of those themes and whatnot to Star Wars. So it's one of those things that is, I think it's easy for a lot of us to use the media that we consume to help us, process what we're dealing with, and, just express it too, and it doesn't feel necessarily so raw. It feels more it's not so insurmountable. And I know that that's every one of us, especially for the past almost 2 years, we've been living with so much right now. And so for me to have Star Wars as a part of my process is just, I'm so thankful for it.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. It is something definitely to be thankful for. And especially right now, it's the best time to be a Star Wars fan, because they're giving us so much new stuff. so
Yeah,
much new
yeah.
content. It definitely has helped the last couple of years, just with all the madness going on, to have that vision of hope and stories of hope,
Yeah.
and of unity working together. It's made it a lot easier.
It has.
It's
Oh no,
a
it
bit of an
has.
escape.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, uh, when it comes to Star Wars and to fandom, I know you started with fandom with Force Awakens.
Mhm.
What is its biggest impact been on you?
Fandom.
Yes.
It has been the people that I have been able to meet. And in terms of, people who were so incredibly important to me in various ways. And that probably really started, connecting just with various, different groups or people. And then I was able to go to Celebration in 2017, courtesy of Steven Stanton,
Oh
and
yeah.
um, that was really wonderful. And to be able to see a lot of the people that I've met in person or met online, to finally meet them in person and develop these relationships that, are so long standing and that have changed my life in just the most magical ways. Because and I won't delve in too deeply, but just my life was changed for the better because of Star Wars fandom, and I will hold that so dearly for the rest of it.
It's awesome. Awesome. Love it. So, you were at Celebration 17. That was Orlando.
Yes, and my first time back to Orlando in a very long time. Like the
That
last time I
was,
had been, it was like downtown Disney, and
oh
then it was
wow. Yeah.
when did that change happen? That's how long it had been since
Not
I've been to Orlando.
honestly, not long ago. In the
Oh,
last,
really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's been in the last 5, 6 years they rebranded the Disney
Okay.
Springs. So
I I think my last visit though was honestly probably like 2003. So it
okay.
was a hot like 14 years going down there. But it was fabulous, and to
Oh yeah.
have it be that one specifically, with the 40th celebration.
Hmm.
And it was hot as heck, but it
Oh,
was it
tell me
was
about
and
it.
I had never been to one. It was wonderful. And the only cons I'd really been to were Dragon Con, and that had been like 10 years prior. So that kind of opened a new world to me. And just to walk along like the show floor and just, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. There's so much. I stalked Chopper. I definitely did that because
See,
during, all the droid builders had their lineup,
yep.
and there were two different Choppers, I think, there at that celebration. There was one who looked a bit more like beaten, and then one who looked very brand new. And I mean, I stalked both of them. I'm proud of myself for doing that. I'm just
Of
like,
course
I'm
you have
following
to.
you. Yes. So, and I know
Yeah.
I have a video of me being like, I love you, Chopper. And he's like, rah, 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 rah. And let me tell you, life made right there to be able
There
to
you
do
go.
that. So,
Oh, I love that. See that, ironically, that was my first celebration too.
oh, was it? Yeah.
Mhm. That was my first celebration too, and I loved it. And while while you were stalking Chopper, I was I had I remember stalking Chopper too.
Oh my gosh.
So we probably stalked the same Choppers.
We
Uh,
probably did.
oh, absolutely. But I remember I remember the last day I was there, which was that Saturday,
Hmm.
because I couldn't go on Sunday. That Saturday I was walking the floor like I had done every other time I was there. And I found on one of the vendors had the table, and it had the Gentle Giant Chopper Ezra statue.
Oh, yeah.
With very where Ezra's just kind of crouched down, standing on top of Chopper.
Yep.
And I had seen it, and I'm like, I'd always like, I'm not going to get it. I'll hold off getting it. When they released it, I'm going to hold off getting it.
Hmm.
Just can't do it right now. Can't do it right now. And I'm walking the floor, and there it is, and I'm going, oh God, it's
Well,
coming home with me.
yeah, that's a sign.
Yes. So yeah, so I ended up picking that up, and uh, I was so I was so enthralled that I'd found it and was walking the floor with it, that I wasn't watching where I was going. And I walked into Daniel Logan.
Oh yeah.
We bumped into each other. He wasn't looking where he was going. I wasn't looking where we were going. We walked into each other like, oh, hey, sorry. And we were both walking the same direction. We were both rounding the corner to head the same way. So we ended up walking the floor together. And
Oh,
just
that's so
chit-chatting.
cool.
It was great. I loved it.
That's yeah, that was so great. Just the people who would randomly. I mean, I know because I was at a table seeing Jonah Marie Macias, and it just
Yes.
happened to be at that time Dave Filoni pops by, and once people and I was hoping to get in to be like, I'm Chopper's biggest fan, but he was swarmed so quickly.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I thought, okay, well, one time down the road it'll happen. So, but that was just the most amazing thing, to see the various people and whatnot, and just kind of out like that. It was wonderful.
That's awesome. I love it. I actually saw Jonna Marie in the line for Vanessa Williams autographs.
Oh, did you?
Yes, because we had interactions online before, but we had never met face to face. And we're
Yep.
standing in line, and all of a sudden she looks at my. Because at the time I was affiliated with a different podcast, and she
Mhm.
saw my shirt, and she looked at me, and I turned around, and I just happened to turn, and we locked eyes, and I'm like, and we're like, hey,
It's you.
you. So
Yep.
we talked in line as we were. It was one of those zigzagging lines, and we were in different angles. So
Yeah.
as we got close, we'd talk, and then we'd pass and round the next loop, and then talk and pass. It was great time.
Yeah. That's so amazing. Yeah, and that was the first time I met her in person as well. Was at that celebration.
Small world.
Right?
Small world.
It's
I love
wild
it.
too, how many people are there, yet at the same time, and this has happened to me at Dragon Con too, when you're in downtown Atlanta and there's how many people, but you still will come across those ones that and it's like, oh hey, and that's just wild to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's crazy how many experiences you can have at a convention like that, and the people you can meet, and
Yep.
it's awesome. That's one thing I love about conventions, and it's one thing I absolutely loved back when Disney was doing Star Wars weekends, is just being around those people, and they're all there for one reason, Star Wars. And
Right.
you don't know anybody in that crowd. You may not know a single soul in that crowd, but you're all there for the same reason, so you feel like you know all of them.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing experience, which actually goes right into our next question, which,
Oh,
what is your favorite Star Wars experience or memory?
so my
moment.
favorite would be it involves Jonah Marie Macias. She invited me and John Beerley to go to Galaxy's Edge with her in Disneyland to be a part of an ad for Disney Yellow Shoes. And so we got to go in May of 2019, flown out there, and we got to experience not all of Galaxy's Edge because, like Rise of Resistance wasn't there yet. But we got to experience Galaxy's Edge about 2 weeks before everybody else did. And just to be able to, that was, and to, see her again, and then to have John Beerley introduced to my life, and he became such an important part of my life, and he is still an important part of my life, that I will just, I call Jonah my fairy godmother,
Aw.
and she is, because that was just the most, and I'd never been to Disneyland either. So, and Disneyland's actually my favorite park now. I like how it is a little bit smaller and more contained, and it was just, I just absolutely fell in love with it. And that, I mean, gosh, that was just the most out of world, wonderful experience. And
Awesome.
it was just fabulous. And to see the Falcon, and to, and again, nobody was there. And then to see the lights set. And then, afterwards, at one point after we shot, to go, and ride the rides. And oh my gosh, I can't wait to go back to Disneyland because I need to ride Rise of the Resistance. I have not ridden it yet, because I know that didn't open until December of
Yeah.
2019, I think, if that was correct.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
California. Yes.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh, yeah.
no, Florida was December 2019. California
Okay.
was January
Okay.
2020.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Florida was
'Cause they
first for
flipped it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to make another trip because I've heard that ride is just fabulous. And then I need to go ride Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot because that sounds fabulous as well. So that's definitely on my list of to do. But that is my favorite Star Wars
Excellent.
memory by and
Love
far.
it. Love it. Disneyland is on my list of things to do. That I've not been out there. I've been to Disney World hundreds of times, but never. I've only been out to the West Coast once, and Disney was not on our circle trip that time. So I want to do it.
It was fun. And it's different, because Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland is a part of the Disneyland park, which would be similar to Magic Kingdom at Disney World. So it's a very different vibe, because you could go do Haunted Mansion and It's a Small World and Space Mountain and then go straight to Galaxy's Edge, where obviously at Disney World at Magic Kingdom, Galaxy's Edge is not there. It's at Hollywood Studios. So it's, I know some people, think it works better at one end. I love how there's two different options, and I think it works great with both. And Disneyland was a lot of fun. And smaller, but it felt there was like a sense of like quaint magic that just still resides there.
Very cool. I love it. So, we mentioned earlier in our discussion, we were talking, you had asked about when I was a kid, what we thought of if we had guessed on Vader's redemption and the theme of his redemption. And Star Wars is full of themes throughout its story, whether it's the redemption stories or the story of hope. But there's lots of different stories and themes throughout there. What theme from the Star Wars saga has resonated most with you?
Oh gosh, that's so difficult. I've been saying for probably since January of 2020, my motto has been the journey continues always. And I feel like that could be a theme for Star Wars because it does. And I know for a lot of people, sometimes that journey is not expected and how it shifts and changes, but it does. And, there's peaks and there's troughs. And that is the thing that I really love about it, that I can tap into whatever, if it's the originals, the prequels, the sequels, the animation, the books, just there is something that is able to, speak to that point in my life. And again, there's a lot of those other themes in there about love and hope. But I think for me, it's that it continues. And I think that can be very difficult to sometimes remember because it's what's the destination? What's the end point? I know I'm one of those people who can do that. And it's the process of it. And that's what's really, really wonderful to watch and to see and to hopefully take in at those certain points, what we're going through. And that's just what I hope to see more with all that we're getting, whether if it's with a character that we already know and expanding their story or a brand new one. And that's the thing, with storytelling in general. We've been telling the same kind of story, if you think about it, for millennia. And it's just maybe the people and some of the places change, but that story continues. And as some really loud car goes by me, that story continues. And it does. And I think I know, especially for me right now, for the past year and a half with, things that I've been going through with grief, with, there's been a world grief as well with this pandemic. It's easy to lose sight of that and to have those steps forward or backwards. I mean, whatever it is. And that all is okay, and that matters, and it's enough.
Well, I love that. Well said. I love that. Perfect.
And then you have all those other themes that kind of go with it along that journey. What is it at those different points that come through? If it's hope, love, redemption, if it's regret, guilt, just all of them. They can come in so organically and beautifully with the characters, that George created and that have been continuing on.
Beautiful. Love it. Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
All right. So now I know when it comes to fandom, you're, like you said, you start getting into fandom till The Force Awakens.
Mhm.
But in the years that you've been in fandom, because I know when Force Awakens came out, the world went berserk fandom wise. Oh my gosh, Force Awakens, we're getting more Star Wars. And to where we are now with everything coming out on Disney Plus and all the stories we're getting with the High Republic and the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian. What kind of changes have you seen that you have noticed and that you have that has impacted you in these years you've been in that in fandom?
Ooh, that's a loaded question, man. That's interesting. Ooh, wow. Ooh, man. I'm trying to, I think it's just noticing more. I think for me personally, it's the stuff that I know that I can handle and I feel comfortable with. And then the stuff where I realize this is not how I want to expend my energy, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. And I'm a lot better at doing that now because as more time has gone on, and to realize for me what is a healthy interaction for me versus what isn't, and so I can maintain, what I love about this world and, express that in a manner that feels comfortable with me because it has shifted, and having, even more material, it opens up so many more things, but it also can show where certain cracks are showing. And, um, so I would just hope, for me, I know where I kind of feel like I'm comfortable and at ease, and then places where I'm not. And I hope other people can feel like that they can find that area where there is that sense. I don't want to say of safety, but maybe that is what it is, safety. Because like I said, these things sit so close to everyone that's why it becomes so volatile, so easy. So if
Mhm.
you're able to engage in a manner that is, allowing that space for you and also understanding, how far you can go, that's for me what I've noticed. And I think I've started to see that on some other ends as well. Um, because we're just gonna keep getting more of it. And then I just hope, with the stuff that keeps coming out, on their end, on the Star Wars end, just that time is okay in terms of what needs to be done, that we're here and that, when we get the next thing, at least for me, I'm like that. I'm excited when we get the next thing, because back in the day, it was what, every 3 years, or for a while, it
Yep.
was nothing at all. And for people to be at ease, with what's coming out of the pipeline, and then for us, on the audience end, how we consume it and, spread it with the rest of the world.
Very good. Very good. And I got one more of the serious, deep
Okay.
questions. Okay. Then we're gonna go into something a little more fun.
Okay.
With the when looking at the Star Wars saga in the direction that it's going now,
Mhm.
with everything we know that we talked earlier about the lineup of shows that are coming out and
Mhm.
the Patty Jenkins movie being postponed and other
Mhm.
movies in the work and everything. How do you feel about the current direction that the saga is headed?
I'm glad to see that they are expanding more into television, where I think, just as a performer myself, television, I think, allows a lot more exploration in terms of character and giving you the time to do things. With film, it's a lot more big idea and the story and whatnot. So I'm glad for that. I just want to see them expand and who, they bring in to tell these stories. Um, and to also, again, like I said, just take that time. I would rather have the time be taken with whatever is, being incubated. And not that, it doesn't always make a difference. Sometimes things can be released really quick and they're perfect, and sometimes they can take forever and they're not. But, I know it's a weird thing with Star Wars in terms of the mythology, in terms of, well, it has to be cohesive or it doesn't or whatnot. But I just hope that they give themselves room to keep growing in terms of who they're telling the stories about, and then who behind the scenes is telling them, and letting that both of those be really grounded in terms of who either their storyteller is, to have that specific voice, because that specific voice is really wonderful. And again, it's the same story. It's just we've got some slightly different takes on it. And to just let that to be grounded, and that we don't have to have it all now. We don't need to. So again, with Patty taking that time, for Rogue Squadron, I think that's great. And then for the television, it seems like they have a lot. I do hope they do more animation. I hate that animation, still seems to be like a less than for so many things. I think of Brad Bird, where he always yells, he's like, it's a medium, not a genre, and because I would love to have, like for Rebels, I would love to have more stories with those characters in animated form. And I'm so glad that Bad Batch continued it for Clone Wars, because animation is just, it's so fertile for storytelling, and you can do so much more with it. And I think in terms of the effects and whatnot, and I hope it still gets the attention that I think it deserves, because I think what George did with the Clone Wars and what Dave continued with Rebels, and then, Resistance was a different style. And then, having Visions so recently, I think that's really fantastic. And none of it is less than. So I hope they do more with that too. And again, just really expanding who the stories are about. So I can't wait. Who's which I can't remember what that one is called, but what's the name? What's the lady who's doing the Orange is the New Black? Is that her series that she's doing? That sounds really exciting. Or Russian Doll. It's Russian Doll.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what the name of the series is, because my mind is going blank. But that's the kind of stuff that I am really thrilled to see. Like I'm thrilled to see Obi-Wan and, Boba Fett and all that. But that's the kind of new material that really has me excited.
Yes, I'm
trying to look it up really quick to see if I can find it, because I don't know why that my mind is blanking on it. And wasn't that like the last Disney Day where we learned about it too?
Was it Acolyte?
Yes, Acolyte. Oh, that's such a great title too. I mean, yeah. So super excited for that.
Yeah, the Acolyte, the Dark Side series. Yes. Yes, I'm looking forward to that one too. I'm really curious about that one to see how that's going to work out, because supposedly it takes place at the end of the High Republic's age that they're currently telling. So
yeah, and if they can get me like a lot of like lady witches and whatnot, like I was a big fan of the Night Sisters, on the Clone Wars, and that's something where I want to see more wise women in fantasy, that is, it's not just the crone, and it's, not, you don't have just the stepmother, but you have these wise women. And I think we just need more of that in our storytelling in general. And so if we can get any of that in Star Wars, because that stuff is my favorite, like Mother Talzin, it's, that's just, it's like meat and potatoes right there for me.
Oh yeah. Those were great stories, and bring them back. Man, let's do a Night Sisters movie. I mean, or series.
Please.
Let's do it. Oh, that would be absolutely great.
I would be the first person in line.
I'd be right there with you.
Yeah.
Because those were fantastic. So.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. So let's have some fun.
Okay.
Let's talk Chopper.
Okay.
So I know you are as big a Chopper fan as I am.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk Chopper. What got you into Chopper? What about Chopper just made you latch on to that little orange guy?
That little beautiful, beautiful boy. That's another thing too, where the first new episodes of Rebels that I saw, because I didn't start Rebels when it originally started. So the first new episode, and I don't remember it was the first episode I ever saw or just the first new episode, I'm not sure, was Shroud of Darkness. And so, of course, a lot going on there in terms of the Jedi aspect and with Ahsoka and, Kanan and Ezra. And then, of course, right after that came the Forgotten Droid, which I know a ton of people at the time were just like, go back to the Jedi stuff. But I was just so enamored with him. And maybe it's because I kind of latched on to Hera as well, maybe as I started to do rewatches, because I feel like I'm always the mom of the group of people that I'm with. But I think sometimes I feel like if 3PO is who I am as a person, which I am 3PO as a person, Chopper is kind of who I want to be in a sense, just like gives no F's and he does. And those are my favorite moments of Chopper, is when he's just so emotionally available and whatnot. Like when he grabs Hera's hand after Kanan dies, or when Kanan's been blinded and he's holding him. By anytime Chopper grabs somebody's hand, I lose it. Like I'm like a puddle on the floor. And I just think they did a really great job, in the same way with R2 and BB-8, to have these characters. They're not speaking a language we understand, and they don't have, facial expressions that we can really understand, kind of like, the Wookiees or the Ewoks, that are easily identifiable. So it's just, their actions and little beeps and boops and whatnot. And to have them, latch on to like the collective consciousness so easily and, wholeheartedly is just really magical. And there was just something that, just that sense of not caring, but actually caring. He's the war vet who is the next door neighbor who says, "Get off my lawn." But he's really, he's seen a lot. And they showed that in the episode too, in Hera's Heroes, where they go back to her home and he's sitting by the Y-Wing and he's just like, rah, rah, rah. And I get emotional watching that, because you can tell this is somebody, he's seen a lot, and he wears that. And, that may be a bit of his armor, but it's also what makes him just so emotionally open too at the same time. And he's just so much fun to watch. Like I said, when he does his little laugh, his little, or when he gets caught doing something and it says, ruh-roh, I love him so much. And I was obsessed with him on Rebels Recon as well, and all the little various things that he would do on that too. He's just so fun. So having him pop up again, on Bad Batch was just like the bee's knees. I really want the story of Hera finding his crashed, his crashed wing, because I need that. My poor little Schnoo. He's gone through so much.
Oh, thank you. I've been asking for that episode for a while now.
I know. I don't care how we get it. I mean, it can be a comic too, but I would probably prefer, something animated.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's that is a story that needs to be told.
Yeah.
What we need, and I've been lobbying this for a while now, is, we had Solo, a Star Wars story. We're getting the Obi-Wan series. We're getting the Cassian Andor series. We need Chopper, a Star Wars story.
We do. Oh yeah.
And it needs to be like a multi-season series that starts when he is rescued and just skips along the history of Chopper. Yeah, we need it.
And one of my favorite things too with him is all, when he gets his paint jobs, for the various disguises. So, he's got like I call his kind of black and gray, his undercover Chopper. And then he has the yellow in like the Geonosis episode, which I called Lemon Shopper. And that's a gag with my dad. So my dad is a big fan of, in the Forgotten Droid, when Zeb and Ezra call him Shopper, because he's going to go, shop.
Yep.
And so I am literally in my dad's phone as Shopper with a picture of Chopper. And so, yeah. So, that's awesome. But I love all of his little his little undercover looks. I would love to see him just have various undercover. We would have to probably get Sabine involved to do that, but that's my favorite thing when he does that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. His little uniform changes, as I like to call them,
Yes,
are some of those end up being some of the best episodes.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Like, cause what is it? Rebel Resolve, what in season 1, when the Imperial droid kind of takes his place on the Ghost for a bit and then he pushes
he
it out.
knocks him out.
That's what you have to do sometimes.
Sometimes you just got to take out the competition.
You do.
Yeah, he went all Tanya Harding on that.
Oh
droid.
my. That is so funny.
So, oh gosh, that was great. Oh, I love it. So what's your favorite Chopper episode?
Oh, the Forgotten Droid. Yeah.
Forgotten Droid.
Which people like to, maybe with more time now, they've been better to it. I know back then, coming right after Shroud of Darkness, I get it, I get that, but I adore that episode. It's so sweet. And, and that introduction to AP5 as well is really, really lovely. And again, at the end of the episode, when he thinks AP5 is, kind of been destroyed and he's holding his hand, and I'm thinking, okay, here we go again. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he has so many moments though. I mean, I love, there's the bit in season 4, when the Loth Wolf picks him up and he's just like, rah, 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 and he's just losing it. And, when he comforts Hera too, they're kind of, she's holding her Calicori after Kanan's death. On Twin Sons, when he's on Tatooine with Ezra, he has so many really lovely, lovely moments.
He truly does. He truly does. And how many droids can honestly say they got the best of R2 in a fight?
Right. Oh my God. And I always give my props to R2 because we wouldn't have Chopper with R2. And exactly. So that's again why I think it's so great how, with Chopper, I think Dave really continued that legacy on with what George created with the Astromechs with R2. Yes. And I think BB-8 continues it well in the sequels.
Yes.
And they're just kind of little different varying degrees of things. So
yes, they are. I love that little droid. I love that little droid.
Yeah. Did you catch him like when Rogue One first came out? Like, I know the first time I saw it, I didn't catch him. And so when I went back, I knew finally where to see him. And my mom and I probably looked like maniacs in the theater, just like pointing and laughing as he's like, rah, 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 through like the bottom of the screen. But I'm curious if you caught him on that first watch.
Yeah. Well, I did and I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I was sitting there watching it and I had like the worst seat in the theater because it was completely sold out. Uh-huh. And I was like, bottom right corner, right up on the screen. Oh. So I'm watching it from the absolute worst angle.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it. And one of the things that I always love about Star Wars has been the music. Mm-hmm. And this was the first movie not done by John Williams.
Right.
So that initial opening really threw me off. Mm-hmm. And I threw off my watching experience because I was like, what in the world am I listening to? And so, and I was watching it and of course that scene where he comes rolling out, he was on the other side of the theater.
He was, yeah. Oh, no.
And I'm sitting there going, wait a second. Was that? No, it couldn't have been. But was that?
Right. It's so quick. And you hear him.
Yeah.
You hear him though. But yeah, you have to be looking.
Yeah. So I got done. And of course that was the last showing of the night. So the next day I came back and this time I sat where I know I could see. And yep, there he was. I was like, oh, wow. Chopper.
Yes.
Yay. I'm like, okay, I'm like, this is officially my favorite movie now.
Right.
Just because Chopper's in it for 4 seconds.
That's so, and it's funny too how so many people I think still don't realize that he's in it, because I
Yeah.
remember maybe earlier this year or last year, Rogue One always trends on Twitter every once in a while when it's on TV. And I posted, that this is the best. This is why Rogue One is the best. And I put that picture and they're like, wait, is that Chopper? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And so it's like people know who he is, but they still don't realize that he's in it. And I'm like, yes, spread this gospel. Yes, Chopper is in this film.
Yeah.
Please go look it up. This is where to find him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think there's not a week that goes by that I see at least one a week where somebody posts something. Oh my gosh, guys, did y'all realize Chopper's in Rogue One?
Right.
Yes.
That makes me so happy, though, at least that they know, even if they don't, they didn't realize he was in the film, to at least recognize when they do that he is. And
exactly.
That's just the best. Because I remember with Bad Batch, too, when he and Hera came back, I mean, that was just all over my Twitter as well. And that just made me all warm and fuzzy inside.
Oh, yeah. See, when they brought him back for Bad Batch, oh, man, I lost my marbles.
Right.
Because when I realized they were going to Ryloth, and I'm sitting there going, oh, sweet, we're on Ryloth. And then it shows Hera, and I'm going, oh, my gosh, that's Hera. I'm seeing Hera and Syndulla as a kid. Oh, my gosh, I'm seeing Hera and Syndulla. Chopper's around. Where's Chopper? And all of a sudden you see those little thing pop up. I'm going, oh, yeah. It's Chopper. That's Chopper. I'm like literally jumping up and down in my living room, and I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs, losing my mind when he popped up. And I was like, oh, it made the series for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, seeing Chopper for me is like seeing like my Elvis or my Beetle or something like that. That's the scale that I'm talking about when seeing Chopper anywhere.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was perfect. So he is, we love Chopper. We love Chopper.
And he never does anything wrong. He's completely, just not at fault.
No, it's all self-defense.
Right? Yes.
It's all self-defense.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So let's go ahead and start wrapping these up. We have 5 more questions for you.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll go quick with these.
This is called our speed round. That's why we have 5 more questions. Okay. So these are going to be simple questions. They're real simple. And we'll just fly through them as quick as we can, and we'll wrap things up. So our speed round questions. Number 1, what's your favorite movie?
And this is Star Wars, right? Oh gosh.
Yes, all Star Wars related.
A New Hope.
Mine too. Perfect. And I already know the answer to this question too, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What's your favorite character?
I'll say it's actually a tie between Chopper and Wicket, because when I was a kid, it was Wicket, and I am still a huge Wicket fan. So I'm really just waiting, when actually, well, I guess there is the episode of Forces of Destiny where he's hanging out with Princess Nisa and whatnot. So Chopper and Wicket, they're my dastardly duo.
Perfect. Love it. All right. If you had a choice, would you join the Empire or the Rebellion?
The Rebellion.
Yeah. Okay. What's your favorite moment from it? Can be from the movies, the shows, but what's your favorite moment from the saga?
Oh, gosh. This has changed so much, but honestly, probably right now it is Luke walking out on Crate.
Ooh,
from The Last
great
Jedi.
Scene.
That's Mark Hamill is so good, and I feel like he should have been nominated for many, many things for The Last Jedi.
All right, very good. I love it. Yes, he should have. By far, he should have. Absolutely. Final question: favorite song or soundtrack from any of the movies or shows?
That's a tough one too, but because I just heard it the other day and it just made me smile and happy. Rey's theme.
Perfect. Excellent.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Well, that wraps everything up here. Let's go ahead. Do you have anything else you'd like to share in the upcoming projects, anything that you're doing, or anybody wants to touch base with you on about Chopper on social media? How would they go about doing that?
Oh my gosh. Oh man, and I just finished a show. Otherwise, I would promote that because I was just in a production of The Tempest, a community theater production, and it was my first time doing community theater, and I played Sebastian. So at the moment, just still, cranking out, doing the auditions and everything, but a running gag that I've done since The Fandalorians, because John Beerley brought it up. So I've done it on Fandalorians, and then Swamp Thing was saying my IMDb, go click on my IMDb page to make my star meter go up. That's the running gag that I do now. So if you want to go click on that, it's Samantha Kacho, Kacho. And the other thing that I will just say is, again, I mentioned this earlier, I'm a big fan of therapy. So just, whatever's going on, I will say my Twitter profile is actually private at the moment, but it is Sam, SAMDYEK. And I'm always somebody who is here to listen if you feel like there is something that you need to get out. And I know Star Wars too, and maybe sometimes I know that's the way that I do it. But yeah, the journey continues always.
Very good. Very good. Love it. And of course, we'll have links to your IMDb in our show notes so people can click on it straight from the show notes and
yes,
get to you there and boost that star rating and get you in the next Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Get it all boosted up and then get you in the next Star Wars production. So
there we go. There you
go. And
gosh,
maybe
man,
star opposite Chopper.
I wish they filmed in Atlanta because, all of them, a lot of the Marvel stuff does. And it's, it's really great for us to have, Marvel just south of Atlanta now. But I hope one day Star Wars will come here too, because that would just be really phenomenal if that were the case versus just like London or LA. We're here, Atlanta. Come see us. Come see us, Star Wars.
One day, you never know.
Yeah.
One day, you never know. All right, perfect. And of course, if you do want to give us some feedback or let us know what you thought, of course, you can hit us up on any of our show social media. Of course, we are on Facebook and Instagram, SW Reactions, or on Twitter, SW Reactions Pod, or email us, show@starwarsreactions.com. Of course, if you want to send David a shout out and let him know he was missed, you can hit him up on Twitter at David_Modders. Or of course, if you want to just give me some feedback on the show, or of course talk Star Wars, or let me know how bad my upcoming Star Wars dad joke of the week is, hit me up on Twitter at TAHarris121079 or email Aaron at StarWarsReactions.com. Well, and Samantha, since David's not here, you get to be the victim. I mean, the beneficiary of this week's Star Wars dad joke of the week.
Yes.
We do this every week, and it is just a random Star Wars joke that, as David likes to call them, they are groaners. So yeah, here we go. This one, because you were on, I searched for some kind of Chopper joke and could not find one. I tried to make one up, and even I was like, I can't do that. So then I started searching for Rebels jokes. Couldn't find any, but I did find one about Twi'leks in honor of Hera for this episode. So here you go. Why do Twi'leks like to flip coins?
Oh, I don't know. Why?
So they can say heads or tails.
Oh my gosh.
So there you go.
So funny.
There you go. That's our Star Wars dad joke of the week. So let us know what you think. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us this week. And you are always welcome back.
Thank you.
At any time for any topic you want to talk about. You're always welcome back. We'd love to have you again.
Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, I would love to do one with David where we talk like the mythic psychological aspect. That would be great.
Absolutely. We will do it. We will actually, we'll make some plans and try to get something like that scheduled for next week or next year. Soon it's going to next week will be next year, but sometime
Right.
sometime 2022 we'll set that up and we will make those plans.
Yes.
So perfect. Thank you everybody for listening in. Y'all are awesome. Take care of yourselves. Be the best that you can be. Be positive. We love y'all. We're praying for y'all. Be great. Thank you for listening. Remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
If you'd like to share your thoughts, you can email us at show@starwarsreactions.com for our show notes and the latest news from the Star Wars universe. Visit our website at www.starwarsreactions.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWReactionsPod or on Facebook at Star Wars Reactions. If you enjoy our show, please leave a review on iTunes. This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.